welcome to the High Rod Hangout Podcast. I'm Matt. Tonight we're joined by Jeremiah Gardner. What's going on, man?
Not much. Really glad to be on here with you tonight talking hot rods and all the stuff. So it was cool hearing your backstory before we went live here. So, yeah, really cool.
So what originally had kind of got you into this crazy car obsession?
I think I always enjoyed it, but I didn't grow up around it. I would have to say, like, I joke that, playing with Hot Wheels and stuff, I remember clear back when I was a kid, grabbing some of Mom's nail polish and painting cars down in our basement. So I think it was always inevitable that I was going to somehow get into the industry, but I don't know how it happened. The part for me, like I went to school actually for music. I played all the saxophones and stuff through high school. So I really loved that part of the arts and whatnot, and drawing and creating. And when we went, then I graduated in 95. And so up here at our community college, I went to the college up here, and they started an automotive program. And so I thought I would take a class. I was getting paid to do music and all the other crap. Thought I was going to probably go into teaching music or something, but took a class and fell in love. They brought down an old timer from a college that was affiliated with ours, and he was teaching us how to do lead and stuff, and it was crazy. I mean, we weren't doing anything, with Bondo or anything. He was teaching us lead and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's kind of how it started for me, was through that process, and then I fell in love with it. And the teacher we got after he got done my second year ended up being a custom painter. So then he was a younger guy, and he had won like the DuPont Hot Hues paint award, the top 12 in the country, the calendars that they used to do and stuff. And so I'm like, oh man, this guy's cool, dude. So I want to do that. I want to learn how to paint. Right. So I ended up getting a job out of college. And I finished up my college there and got my degree in auto body and collision repair, but I didn't really care to fix cars. I really just wanted to do cool custom painting because this guy was really cool and he won big awards, and I wanted to be like that, right? So I ended up really hammering down. I learned the trade, kind of grunt, sweeping floors, learning body work, worked my way up to head painter at a collision shop here. But in the evenings, I would go and moonlight, and I had a really cool boss that would let me just stay there and work and work and work. So I just honed my skills on flame jobs and all my buddy stuff. My dad's, circle track cars. We have asphalt down here in western Nebraska, so not as much dirt as down east and south, but we have a little quarter-mile, asphalt, and we were running those. So I was painting up his cars, and he had the coolest cars for what we had. And so that's kind of how it happened, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so one day, one of my buddies had a jet boat, like an old CB Avenger, like 77 or 78 somewhere, jet boat, an old fiberglass jet boat with a big old Buick nail head in it and stuff.
Okay.
And he had seen the TV show Trick My Truck, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, Rhino's painting this wood grain on his truck, and it's real easy, dude. You want to try it, dude? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, this ain't NASCAR. You just watch it on ESPN and hop in and roll. I'm like, come on, man. So he says, man, I'll tell you how he did it. Just try it for me. Please just try it. And I want to paint my boat wood grain. I'm like, you're crazy. So he told me, and I kind of tried out. I said, I'm going to give you a couple hours tonight after work. I'll do a test panel. When it looks stupid, we're going to go back to what I want to do, which was going to be armor and rivets and metal and stuff like that, a little more simple. And I did it, and I was like, it looked kind of cartoonish, but I was like, I think I can fix it to make it look really good. And he goes, okay. So we sat in there, and so my boss let us run the joint from Friday night through the weekend, and it ended up being like a 17-hour pull in the booth after we got everything kind of primed up and ready. And, we were trash too. Smoking in there. It was crazy, right? So we laying out wood, and I'm doing tiki flames, and this thing is insane. And I'm like, somebody's got to see this, and he's like, I know, right? And so I ended up sending it in to the Hot Hues competition, the top paint award, and forgot about it, right? So a couple months later, I get a big envelope in the mail, and it's from them. I'm like, it's the thanks for playing, whatever, right? And I started reading it, dude, and it's like, dude, we want to tell you congratulations. You're top 12 in the country, grand champion. You're going to be in the freaking calendar. And I'm like, I'm going up against cigarette boats and shit. You know, I mean, it was crazy. I'm just a little redneck from, you know, the sticks, man. And this is crazy. So I tell him about it. He's like, no way. So he has to get the engine done. He puts wood floors in the bottom, put some money into this thing. Because now they want to take photographs, man. We got to go down to Denver and do this huge photo session. It was wild. So that's kind of like how I got into the national scene. That angle was like custom painting and like competitions. Like I just was like, oh, so if I do good, like, and I put my name in there, maybe I could compete against the big dogs, and it doesn't matter where I'm from. We're all just dudes anyways. So if I got the skills, maybe we can let it roll.
Hell yeah,
right?
man. That's awesome.
So the next time I put my name in a hat was, so I did that thing. I kind of went on my own, had a little shop, was kind of doing it. Everybody called it a hobby, whatever. But, you know, so you try. And so the next thing was in 2014. So that was 2006. We won that one. And then 2014, I had already built a few things and I saw some rat rods. What I thought, I didn't know at the time, it wasn't like they didn't have the magazine until 2010, but early, like late 2008, 9, 10, when I was on my own, like I'd gone to some shows, some good guy shows in Kansas City and down here in Colorado. And then I was like, man, there's these cool styles of these like kind of traditional looking rides, but just really radical, like really raw and rusty. And I was like, dude, that's the sickest, because I was getting pissed at all the, you know, silver hairs and stuff that were kind of a-holes, man, at the shows. And I was like, dude, you guys ain't that cool. You just buy your stuff and you got a lot of money, which is awesome, but like, you ain't that cool. So I was like, I really like this whole in your face, you know, finger to the man,
punk rock,
rat rod kind of movement thing. And I'm like, I'm building one of these, dude. So 2006, I built this Frankenstein out of an International, put it on an S10 chassis, and it was just nasty, dude. No air ride, just sitting on the ground. We didn't have the toe right, dude. It was all towed in, so it was just horrible. We were slamming it out we want to take it to good guys to piss everybody off down here. And so we get it done, man. We're working till like 1 a.m. We got to get going, and we're riveting in the Lexan and shit on the front window. And then, you know, so we get the thing on a trailer, barely, it's scraping everywhere. It's so low, dude. It's insane. But we use like a 38, 39 Ford grill, because I always said my first one's going to have that alien grill shell I really always liked. But it was just crazy, and a tree had fallen on the roof, so we cut the whole roof out, and it was just open. And then we had a box and stuff. It was just open headers. I mean, it was just ruthless, man. 350 combo, just super redneck, insane, right? And so we get there, and we can't get it unloaded, and it's too low. And so we back up to this landscaping, because they have hills and stuff with these trees. It's a really nice place. So we back up to this landscaping and unload this thing like up on this hill with these trees and shit. And people are yelling, dude, you can't do that. And I'm like, we do whatever we want, man. What? And so we pull in, and at the time they had what they called like home built heaven or something. It was this little like squared off kind of piece of this good guys national show. And it was before rat rods and before everything, but it's like, you know, if you built your own stuff, it's kind of cool.
Well, it was the beginning of when rat rods actually meant rat rod. Now it's got.
What's that?
I said it's when rat rod was actually rat rod, not what it's become now.
Yes. Correct. And so we're pulling in. I'm going over speed bumps and just chunking fenders and stuff because it's so low. And like, because these are, you know, $250,000 hot rods at these shows. You know where you win. So I've been all over the country, Bakersfield. I went to all the nice ones, and that's what I came from, was really pretties. I did a lot of high end, you know, paint jobs and restos and stuff. I just hated it. I was just like, it's not fun for me, dude. You guys still bitch and complain no matter how nice it is. So I'm like, I'm gonna just step on this whole thing. So I bring this beast in, loud, dude, just nasty, and roll in the good guy. So the guy's like, you're going in here. And I'm like, how do you know I built this at my home? And he's like, are you kidding me? So we go in, dude, and I drove around, and we pissed so many people off because, like, dude, the shutter time, like, they would have gorgeous Bel Airs and stuff, and the people would walk right by them, and they would take pictures. And this was the 06, you know, so we didn't belong. Like, they didn't want us around. there was no magazine, there was no following, there was nothing, right? So they hated me, dude. And I'm leaking oil, and we hadn't really tested it. Like, I had taken a Pinot radiator and hogged it out so it tried to cool a 350, dude, and it didn't. And so we would only be able to drive around the loop a little bit there at the ranch in Loveland, Colorado, and it would stop and piss all over. So people were like, "What? Get the fuck out of here," you know? And so we drove everywhere and like crunched fenders. Like the first time we had to get like an incline and drive around this loop where everybody cruised their nice cars, and they're all like, they parted the seat 'cause it's so loud. And I had long hair, dude. I mean, I had hair to my butt, you know, back then, and I'm rolling through there like Rob Zombie in this thing, dude. And people are just standing back, grabbing their kids, dude. This thing's just stupid. And I come on this incline, and I used to do mini trucks. That's kind of what I came out of, was mini trucks in high school and stuff. And I still love them.
Yeah.
And so, you know, mid to late 90s, dude, you know, straight up kickers and alpines and all the stuff, you know. So I'm an S10 guy. So I go and we try to take the angle as best as I can, because my dad's like, dude, we got to drive this around. I said, it's awful. It's going to overheat, Dad. We're not ready. And he's like, he raced, so he had his little fire extinguisher that he could go and cool the fan. Yeah, I'm like, whatever, dude. You know, you helped me. You got me down here. He goes, yeah, I ain't leaving until we drive this thing. And I took off. We took off. I'm like, whatever. They're going slow. So I cut this angle, this driveway, dude, and it just tacos the fenders coming in. And people are just standing there like, ah, you know, because we're just scraping, because everybody else has nice stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And the only other rat rod in the whole joint was a really big, really nicely built, you know, flat black, really nice truck with windows and air conditioning and shit from Weld County over there. And I'm like, from a pro shop, and I'm like, that ain't rat rod, bro. You just ain't painted your shit yet. So I was like, I rolled through there and people are just dying. Well, we didn't make it halfway around the cruise, and it's pissing. It's hot. I'm like, we pull over and people are just losing it. I'm shooting shit everywhere, dude. And I'm just, you know, so that was kind of my introduction to getting into the whole rat rod thing. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I like this. I like being the guy. I like being the outlaw. I don't care about you guys. You have no idea what I'm capable of anyways. And I kind of was known as a painter, and I didn't like being pigeonholed. I'm like, I like all things. I like to build, right? So after that, you know, Rat Rod Magazine came out in 2010. And then like in 2012 and 13, they did a big cruise that was really cool and tried to do a build off. And then in 14, it got really big. And so I was like, man, I'm going to try to put my name in this hat and do this build off, this national build off for the magazine. And so at the time it was like Rat Rod Magazine and Raw Bike, or no, it was, what was the other one? It wasn't Raw Bike, Ride Hard Magazine. Anyways, so I was like, I don't know if my friends bail on me. I don't know if I can finish a car, because it's 30 days and $3,000 was the build off 10 years ago when we did this in 2014. 30 days and $3,000. You had to build something. And I'm like, I don't know if I can build a whole ass vehicle in 30 days by myself if all my good friends bail on me and don't help me out. So I'm like, I'm going to enter the motorcycle side. Even though I hadn't built a motorcycle, I love riding and I've chopped some stuff up, but I've never built one from scratch. And I'm like, I can build a motorcycle by myself, idiot. No. So I put my name in, and they drew it out of the helmet, and my name got drawn. And I'm like, whoa. Then it got real, right? 12 guys got drawn out of a helmet. Here's my opportunity to shine. Bro, you better come with it, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I want to do something that's never been done, which is really hard today because everything's been done. We just kind of reinvent and polish it up. But so I'm like, I'm going to do this front end that's never been done. And so I draw it all up and I come up with it, but it's a Springer front end. Okay. So it's chain driven Springer over leaf spring. Okay. And y'all have to send you pictures and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I built it. And there's probably a reason it hasn't ever been done before. I didn't really have a lot of time to R&D it because it took so much time to build this damn thing. But yeah, it's a Springer that basically, as you're rotating assembly on your wheel, okay, your rocker turns. There's a gear down there, like a gear or chain, and there's a loop of chain on both sides that go all the way up to like a cam on the top that has gears. So it's rotating a cam, and the cam has arms that go out and lift up on Model A leaf springs that are sticking out from the triple. It's insane. So Anyway, sounded cool, sounded pretty rat and nasty, and it was. And so their rules were you also had to ride this thing 500 miles. And so we started in St. Louis and had to trek all the way down through the Smokies to Chattanooga and then back up to Memphis Nashville. And we got to meet Stacey David and go to his shop. I mean, it was crazy. It was really, really legit. This whole thing, but I built this thing, and I don't know how many hours total we all had my team, but we did things on that bike I'll never do again. I probably won't ever ride it again. It should be in a museum, but we rode it. We didn't die. It's almost 10 foot long, man. It is insane. It has a copper fire extinguisher for a gas tank on it, dude. It's a 3-cylinder 850 triple Yamaha with headers, and it's wild, man. But anyways, we did it, built it, mom and dad. We forklifted it in the back of the truck. Wouldn't even let me in the trailer. He had to have his bike in the trailer. I mean, it's so messed up. And so we roll down and get to St. Louis, dude. It's late, dude. Everybody's already drinking. 8 guys helped me lift it out of the back of the truck, fire it up. Long story short, we did ride this thing. I had maybe 5 miles on it. I thought I was going to die. Gary Ripley and Tracy Ripley were doing the motorcycle thing at that time. And they straight up said, like, when I told them what I was going to do, they laughed when I told them on the phone. But when they saw it, they're like, oh my gosh, dude, this redneck's for real. And they said, but we're probably going to video him dying on this trip because it's so sketchy. But basically, I didn't put a lot of rebound into it. So it kind of locked up when it got tight. And it might as well have been a rigid front end, which they did that in the 60s too.
You're good.
I don't know how, because it scared the crap out of me the whole time riding that thing at 75 miles an hour.
It just has to be long.
But
you just have to be really, really long.
It's very long. Yeah, it was stupid.
The front end has to be really long, so you have some good stuff, because those forks would have snapped, dude. It was so sketchy. He has pictures of the front tire coming off the ground about 3 inches, man, when it would just get sprung up like that. Anyway, so that's kind of how it all started. I ended up winning that year. They invited me back the next year. I'm like, I got to build something I can ride. So I shortened everything up and built a XS 650. And at the time, baggers were really insane in 2015. Yeah. That next year, everybody's going big 26-inch front wheels on. Right. Okay. So I'm at Sturgis. I took the Widowmaker, is what I call the first one, literally, because that's what it is. So I took it up there to take it to some shows and stuff. And while I was there, I was walking downtown, and I saw piles of these 26-inch tires, man, at these shops. And they look brand new, man. Some of them have nubbies on them still. And I'm like, what are all these tires for? And they're like, oh, all these show bikes, if they have anywhere at all, they switch them out, right? Because, And I'm like, well, what do you do with them? We trash them. And I'm like, I'm building this crazy bike for a build-off, and it's a budget. And they're like, we didn't see shit. And so I load up 2 brand new freaking 26s, and I'm walking down Sturgis. I'm at Main Street in Sturgis, dude, up to my campgrounds, like 14 blocks, dude, with 2 26-inch tires, because I built kind of this board track / flat track looking crazy hardtail thing that looked like a bicycle, with turn down bars and all the stuff. On the 650, had the 2-into-1 carb hanging out the side. A dude in Oregon builds them, super sick. And then put 26s front rear. Well, they only made front wheels at the time because everybody was hiding their crap in the back. They weren't making 26-inch rears. They were just tight. They're just, anyways. So I took 2 26s and then took the front wheel and had it machined to accept my hub and stuff and my brake and my rotor. And I still have it. It's rolling 26-inch spokes, man, front and rear. And it's like a bicycle. And that thing is so sick, dude. 26 it's maybe spokes? 450 pounds with a little 650 XS, little cheap man's Triumph, engine on that thing, the vertical twin. And had a blast riding that thing. And it has crazy front end suspension on that one too. I did like gas over shocks, kind of like what you were talking about, but I did those. Didn't really think it out either because there probably should be something connecting the two. So like when you turn really hard, the wheel actually can move because it has independent front suspension. Anyways, so you don't have a lot of time in 30 days to R&D all this stuff, just crazy stuff. So that's kind of how the building part started. So I ended up becoming really good friends with a lot of the people that own the magazine, started writing for Rat Rod Magazine. Then got really good friends with Jerry and Tracy, and they did Raw Bike for a while, so I started writing for them. And then I did my own show. I started my own show back home in 2012. And then after the build-off, invited Rat Rod Magazine to come, and then the show blew up and everything else blew up, and it got really crazy back home. Built it up really big, ran it for about 12 years, and been helping the magazine ever since. And I kind of got, I don't know, I get talked into doing a lot of things. But anyways, I had kids, so I got two boys. One's finally out. He's 22. The other one's a junior in high school. Always been a coach to both of them. Just I don't like other dudes, treat my kids like crap, and I don't want to have to go to jail. So I'll just coach them. So I coach, and I love wrestling and stuff. So I ended up getting pulled into wrestling or coaching wrestling in high school about 7 years ago. And then some guys got fired and stuff in the school, and I was a para, and I don't even know how it all happens, but I'm teaching high school now, industrial arts. So this is my fourth year. I'm teaching welding, and they let me bring an automotive class in and construction, and it's wild, dude. So we're building like rat rods and choppers and toys, and I am not conventional at all. But it wasn't my choice, and they wanted me, and they knew what they were getting. But it's been a wild ride. And so, like, I'm done coaching now. I'm going to let my boy kind of finish his last 2 years without daddy helicoptering over him and having fun, because I want him to get ready for college and stuff. But so I have a lot of extra time. I let go of my show 2 years ago, and a young family, Rat Rod family here, took it over. So I kind of, like, calmed everything down. And we had done – there's been build-offs throughout the years since I did it, put on by the magazine and other people and whatever, but it hasn't gone well. It's gotten really toxic. And the magazine, Jerry and Tracy Ripley ended up buying the magazine, and they're running it now, which is super cool. So full circle now, they're running the magazine. I'm still really close with them, writing for the magazine. Going down, I judged the last build off 2 years ago, kind of getting my feet back under me, because I really miss building, because that's the whole reason I did all this, was to build cool show that we could have, and burnout pads and dirt track racing and all the stuff I wanted, so I could have that community here as well. But now I'm like, okay, I'm itching. I want to build. I got tons of, I buy, my wife says hoard. I collect. My stuff's cool. But anyways, like, I have a lot of stuff.
That's the difference. That is the difference between a hoarder and a collector. Right? Is it cool?
It's a collection. But I want to build some stuff, but at the same time, I miss that competitive part of it. And I kind of done the local thing big. So I'm like, I want to go national. And so I asked Jerry and Trace, I'm like, hey, man, are you sure you don't want to do a build off? Like, we don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole again, dude. That was so toxic the last time. I'm like, well, I think I have some ideas, and because I've been in the build-offs and been around and know a lot of people over the past 10, 12 years of doing this all over the country, I might try to send it. So I kind of came up with an idea, went live, kind of put it out there, and man, the feedback was phenomenal. And I'm like, oh, okay. So some of my ideas are like classes to kind of break things down, yada, yada, moving budgets a little different between classes and things. And then I have never really got to go down south for a big show. And so I really wanted to have it down south, and I have some friends down there to help me kind of orchestrate that. And so I chose Mississippi as kind of like the ending point. And then I'm putting it far enough out to help me plan everything to make sure it's good, get my kid graduated that year and have time to get it done. But we decided on Memorial Day week in 2027. And so that would kind of give everybody like a year and a half, because the other thing is I don't want people to rush it. Like if you're going to be in this thing, I want you to really go hard and give me everything you possibly can. And I think if you have a year and a half, you can do life, take care of family, take care of stuff, and actually.
And especially with the deadlines. So we did that. We talked about My Model A before this, and a lot of the times was like you would do it differently if you had another week, and there was a couple of times, like I would say, oh, I'm going to bring it as a roller somewhere, and you're like the night before welding in pieces just to hold the body up, and it's like, wait a second, fuck that, like. Yep. No, I'm not. And I'd get on and be like, I'm not bringing it, because I'm not doing stuff that I have to cut back out when I get home that night. Like, just to take it to a local show to say I have it. Like,
yep. So that's kind of the theory behind it, is just The other point is it's an invitational.
Right.
And so this isn't going to be a free-for-all. And what I'm trying to produce is the end goal isn't being the best and everybody else sucks. Like, I want to showcase builders and really showcase this first one with Rat Rod, because Rat Rod still has a very bad connotation to it with a lot of people when they hear it, because there is still a lot of shit being built and driven on the roads. So my biggest concern is safety.
Yes.
And drivability. So you have to drive them, obviously. But I want quality freaking builds. And if you think you're good, then I'm going to pick you. And the other thing is, I grew up on biker build-offs and watching TV shows and stuff, right? It's all gone. Like, Discovery Channel's weak, gone, Motor Trend's gone. You know, we have some streamers now, but really that idea of a show about builders and getting to know characters is kind of not there right now. There's kind of a void. Mm-hmm. There's pockets of cool in the chopper world and Bonneville and different groups of people that are doing good things. Yeah. But I think for what I'm looking for to showcase is guys that I believe could build phenomenal hot rods if they wanted to, but they really do enjoy the rat rod scene and the family that goes along with it. And I love that community because it reminds me of the biker community, which I absolutely love because it's family and we'll do anything. You know, you don't leave a biker behind. I like that stuff that goes along with it, right? And so with this invitational, if you get an invitation, it's going to be like a Willy Wonka golden ticket. It's going to be dope. I mean, a wax seal. I want it to be like super important. When you get this thing, like it's something you're going to hang up and probably frame because there's only so many in each class. That's it, you know. And then I want you to get a package. And the whole idea behind the name High Class Trash is, like you can see, this is our newest version. But when I did the build off, I'm like, everybody come up with names for their team, and I'm like, you know. I think I build really good, but most people think it's trash. And so, like, it just kind of came out as High Class Trash because I still think what I'm building is great just because I don't want to paint it, and I could. Yeah. So that's the other thing. It's kind of like it's like a little, you know, little highbrow, lowbrow, whatever, you know. And so I'm messing in that theory, you know, but I think a lot of people can relate to that because we all come from some struggle somewhere. We all came out of somewhere, and we all have a story, and just don't judge us on appearance, man. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, we all get that, right? And so I kind of want to represent like that blue collar, working your butt off, still a great dude, you know, raising a family, working hard. You got the hustle, you still got dreams, and you're making time to get out in the garage and do something. I want to celebrate that, right? So it's called the High Class Trash Invitational for that reason. You're getting picked. So we started by sending in videos because I like to see, because this is a big part too, I want this to be able to be seen by everyone all over the world. So I'm going to have a YouTube channel, and we're going to be taking video that you're going to be doing as a builder, giving me so I can clip it out and make some kind of like episodes so people can see the builds being done, because that's the coolest part, and it never gets seen, dude. You know. And also, it also give people the realization that, because that was the one bad thing that television does, is you watch a 30-minute or an hour television show, and they went, you know, I'm not going to pick on anybody, but they went and they picked up this car, and first of all, that car wasn't $30,000. You bought that car for $3,000. But thanks for making the price of that car go up by saying that you paid $30,000 for it. And two, you know, we call them commercial mechanics. I'm still waiting on the commercial mechanics to show up. The Cadillac's sitting out there, the Holly's sitting in it, it needs wired. And I've left it out there. I've let the lights on for them. They refuse to come wire that car for me. You know, it's just, that's what it is. But you see an hour show and they're like, oh, we built this car. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's been a year and a half or 2 years or 5 years down the road. Correct.
You know.
And I've seen like overhauling We have a guy here who actually has a really big collection of cars. He's got some money. His dad had some money. And so I got called one day and said, oh my gosh, dude, there's an overhauling car here in Bluffs where I live. You want to come check it out before they put it in the storage unit? And I'm like, absolutely. So I went down there and looked, and it ended up being Ian Ziering's Camaro, and Mike LaValle did the fire on it. So he's the real fire guy, right? Back in the day, he did, and that's where I bought his whole system and learned how to do real fire and blah, blah, blah. So like, he was the king of real fire back in the day. So I got to really look at, and I love Chip Foose. I love a lot of, you know what I mean? Like all these guys I looked up to, and I looked that car up and down, and what a piece of crap, dude. Yeah, they did it in 7 days with 100 dudes putting in 4,000 hours. But guess what? Primer only dries so fast. Bondo only dries so fast. When you're 80 gritting this stuff, it shrinks back up. And holy crap, this car looked like complete butt. And so, like, that gave me that idea. Like, dude, it's all fake. Like, and we're all talented. So, like, that's what changed my whole mindset of, dude, I can do this kind of work all day long. Like, I can outwork these guys. I can do the same work. TV is making it look way cooler than it is. It's not that cool. And we're idolizing a lot of people that are doing some foolish things on TV because it's TV. So this will give me that opportunity to showcase guys and girls. We have some pretty cool, I haven't really said anything about anybody yet, but there's some people that have applied that will have females on the team and young ones at that, which is really cool. And so, because the whole point is obviously trying to inspire young people or our hobby dies, right? So that's the whole point of this thing, is to inspire young people again. And I'm hoping to give them that with the streaming aspect, because that's what they live in now.
Oh, yeah.
They're on there.
We don't have cable.
So it's,
we don't. We just watch YouTube.
I haven't had cable in years.
So it's YouTube or whatever.
So the whole idea is to get something put together that I don't know how often it'll be. Once a month, twice a month, whatever I can handle, putting together something that I think is quality, but showcasing all the builders, hopefully, and teaching them how to, and that's the other thing, is I'm going to be working with them, hopefully, on how to do video, how to set things up. If you need stuff, let me know. Like, I'm going to be getting them little mics and stuff so you don't get all the surround crap. Just there are some that are already ready to go, that have channels that are, it's going to be good. So I'm very excited working with people that are in that lane already. And then as this progresses, I think the national level will kind of take notice a little bit more, and it'll be interesting to see who wants to get involved that way at some point. I don't have an intention as a goal, but I'm also old enough to know what could happen. So I want to be prepared if things go really well. And if not, it's still going to be freaking rad with all my buddies and all these people building cars. We're going to go down to Mississippi and have a heck of a time in the Delta checking things out, right? And so if it takes off and it goes well, then so be it, man. And then we'll go from there and figure it out. Because, like, I left it open umbrella with the whole High Class Trash Invitational. So if I want to do a motorcycle build-off sometime, I can do a motorcycle build-off. Yeah. If I want to do a mini trucking, if I want to do a custom, lead sled build off.
And that's our show, January 3rd, the Hangout. That was kind of, it's not a trophy show. It's not a participation trophy show. It was what we were trying to mimic is that photo you see of 60s guys, and there's all these lead sleds or, 50s customs, and they're just parked however they wanted to in a driveway or a front yard or street, and they're all in there and they're drinking beer, eating pizza, ripping each other new ones, best friends, hanging out. So when the first year, or this year also too, we're at Big Daddy Don Garla's Drag Race Museum. We're parking in front of his garage.
Nice.
And that was kind of, people, we need to line up. No, park crooked. If you can suck a tire up into a fender well, 3-wheel that joker. I don't care. Don't drive on the pavers that have names on them because people donated and they're important people. Don't drive over those. if you want to hang out for all day, hang out all day.
Right.
This year we added a pinup show. I don't know nothing about pinup. I know that they're cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we got a group that wanted, like, I was like, here, it's your thing. You know what you're doing, do it.
Right.
You know, we give away our choice. You can be mad at me. If you don't win the podcast choice, you can be mad at me. You know, and the picture up here in the corner, that's a 53 Meadowbrook that my buddy built. It's his wife's car. It's got a 12-valve Cummins in it that we put in 4 days, him mostly. But she drove it across the show field. So we pulled the motor out of the truck that it was in and set it in the car New Year's night. And
wow.
January 4th, she drove across Don Garlett's show field with a shoestring throttle and no intake pipe, so it was rolling all of the coal with no suspension, sitting on bump stops front and rear with a hood stack.
That's wild.
And that was our pick because
yep.
I knew the car. I knew that they bashed. I knew
right.
that, you know,
yes.
Was there cool?
And that's part of what we're doing this time with this show is we're going to I'm taking a lot of the pressure away from you have to win or you're nothing
right.
by putting it into other people's laps. So people's choice is going to be huge because they're going to be watching
yep.
you. So I'll put that thing on Facebook, whatever, where you can have one vote. Everybody's going to get a vote. So that's actually going to be a big deal. Yes. It'll be people's choice, top 3 in each class. Then it's going to be builder's choice. Your peers are going to vote on your builds because then it's not these aren't pro judges with, popularity contests. You guys decide who's the coolest one.
Yep.
And then there's going to be top 3 there. So now there's 6 awards in each class given out by everybody other than judges.
Yeah.
Then everybody that's on my advisory board or whatever you want to call it, we're not even going to call them judges. I will give out whatever. I'll have another dude give out what, because we all have our own taste of what we think is cool. And a lot of times it's about the story anyways. And so that's kind of what we'll do if we have big sponsors or anybody else that's helping with the build off by that time. They might have their pick and stuff like that. But it's not going to come down to, you got picked first because you're the best and blah, blah, blah. Because in the end, like I want to make it to where you got picked to be in the build off. Like you won. Yeah. Like that's the big win.
That's everything the else win. Is the rest gravy, is just baby. The party, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's what the excitement comes from watching you build and seeing what you're doing and seeing what other guys are doing going, man, I got to step up, man. Like this is crazy, man. So I think, like I said, you can't legislate anything into working or not working or being cool or not being cool. All you can do is just like, for me, it's my passion, my heart, who I am as a man and how I treat people, but just what I'm going to try to bring from the top down with that excitement and like that consideration for people and who they are and where they're at and making sure that every one of them feels, like a rock star by the time they're done with this. I'm good. I'm good. Like I don't have to do another one. If it works and people are like, you got to do it, then we'll talk about it. But like right now I'm focused on this one. And it's been overwhelming, the people that are coming out. Like, I'm really surprised. Like, there's guys I haven't heard from in like 10 years, like from the OG first builds and stuff. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, dude, I want in. I'm like, this is sick. And they're really, really talented people. Like, to the point where I even had a guy out of another country call, and he's like, I have this wild idea. He goes, but I can't even make your $10,000 budget on, like, drivetrain. And I'm like, oh. And so like I'm having to consider like, is there going to be an outlaw class, like no rules, nothing, like, and maybe get a couple higher end like celeb kind of guys would be cool. Because we do have some monsters, Vegas Rat Rods, wink wink, or there's other guys, but there's a lot of people out there that it would be cool, dude, just to, not even for the I'm going to win, just to blow everybody's mind, say, like, I got money because I've been successful and I'm really talented, and I'm going to build something that's never been built before, and check this out. Because there are a lot of guys, like if me and you had endless amount of money and said, we have the time, go build what you want, I'm sure we would come up with something very different than what we're building now. because we're limited to certain things now that maybe if you had 50G and every tool in the book, you could build whatever you wanted. So your mind now can go to paper a lot easier than under a budget and under the gun. And so
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because one of my questions is unlimited budget. What are you building?
Yes. And so like that's real talk. I have a very different view of the car culture. And so even in rat rods, like I've coined my own phrase of hurdy-dirties is what I call them, because they are well-built monster hot rods that just are dirty. They didn't paint them, whatever. And so if I'm doing that right now, like I like all the things, but I definitely am leaning, and especially I just got back from Salt Lake City, my vacation with my old lady. And so I got to, bust out of there last week on a morning and roll out for sunrise on the flats, dude, because I'd never been there. And like that really got me pretty good. And so I might build like something for Bonneville, like if I had money and do like a Rolling Bones, like 34 slit window, nasty Bonneville speeds. I don't know, man, with some Arden heads and like just full on blasted. I don't know. But I'm starting to think like it's crazy how life goes. And the older I get, like flatheads and doing something cool. Like it's not even about the numbers of power. It's just like the cool factor of building skinnies and doing something a little more error correct. I can see my builds definitely leaning that way. Right now I got one in the shop. Haven't really told anyone, but I'm building a Roadster Woody pickup. And so I got into a Model A Roadster cowl, authentic Roadster cowl. And it's from a really good friend of mine, and his dad passed away like 5 years ago. And it was one of his last builds. He had like 4 or 5 builds going on, and we ended up trading. I had a shovel head, and that's his unicorn. And so we traded this summer, and I got this chassis and this kind of idea of this build mocked up, and I'm going to go pretty hard on it, but it's going to have exotic woods and stuff. And I might end up like carving out the roof and stuff. I don't know, man, but it's going to be something different, but very crazy that way. Cool. But I'm a very outside the box guy. Probably did way too many drugs as a young person. And so I see things differently than other people, maybe. I don't know. But I really like one-off builds that never existed before. And so I definitely love that kind of lane where you're mixing concepts that way. But I like cruising, so things need to start making sense on the road. So definitely not just shit boxes anymore that, are, bar hoppers and stuff.
And I was listening, because with the podcast, I don't just listen to ours. I listen to everybody's, and there's not, everybody's, I've had a couple people on that are getting ready to start, or I tell them, hey, you need to start a podcast. Like, get with a buddy and, do this, because there's no competition, and the more people we can get out. So whether it's on the building side, whether it's on the cruising side, whether it's on the car show side, whatever, or talking about it, but I was listening to DJ Mays, his podcast, and his most recent one is Trailer versus Driven, Built or Bought. And listening to it, and I've said it on ours before, I don't care how you enjoy your car. Personally, I want to go drive it. But there's so many different ways or different avenues that you can take in the car world that everyone can have their own piece. Some people have a load of money and they want to send it to a Roadster shop or one of these people, or, Hometown Hot Rodder, and tell them, build me a Triple Crown winner, or build me a Riddler, build me this, build me that.
Yeah.
And they're A-okay at the end of the day going, that's my car. And they open up the garage door and they go, that's pretty. And they shut it and they go back in their house. Personally, I would rather, because once you show it, Grand National, that's it. If you win a Riddler or you win a America's Best Roadster, it's done. It's never going to win that award again. So I trailer it out there, win your award, get in it, do a smoky burnout, and roll ass back out to the house. You might as well drive it. It's done.
Yeah, and so like I get both ways, and I have plenty of friends that are adamant haters of anything on a trailer ball, and they're drive it or die, and I have no problem with that. And like I said, I mean, I've built stuff that I thought I was going to die on. I've ridden hardcore stuff. I've peed blood, right? Like, because it's so like I guess you get to that point where it's like, I don't got to prove anything to anybody anymore. Like, I don't even care, dude. You can say whatever you want. I'm not going to be that guy that busts your balls over or something small, because like, I look at it the other way too. I'm very fortunate to have my parents still around, and we're very, very close, and they've been with me on this whole journey and supported me 100%.
Yep.
And so I finally was able these last few years to build them a little rat rod truck. It's not really, it's pretty dirty, man. It's gorgeous. But it's sitting on an S10 chassis, air ride, 46 Chevy, really clean body, custom flatbed called the Little Debbie truck. It's got mini trucking all over. I mean, the tilted bed, blah, blah, blah. Hey. But they love it. And they're like, it's an old 350, nothing crazy. It was a very simple, mild build for them. Their first air ride, anything, because they're nervous. And and they're retired. And so they're coming down to Mississippi with their trailer and that thing, and then driving around down there because they're retired, dude. Like, they're like, we're driving the dually with air conditioning and radio, I don't care, dude. Like, it doesn't make you not cool, bro. Like, you're still rolling with me and help me the whole time, anyways, right?
And one of the people that called in on his show was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna trailer it." He's like, "I'm not driving my truck to a show." He's like, "First of all, I get a rock chip. It's $1,000 to fix that hood." He goes, "Or I can put it in an enclosed trailer. I can hop in my brand new Chevrolet with heated seats or AC'd seats. I can load the wife up. We can cruise down. We can have a conversation and everybody's good. I can unload it, drive it around, cruise it, drag it a little bit if I want to, load it back in the trailer and drive home and know that I'm going to make it home." Because it's not an airline rubbing an airbag. It's not a this. It's not a that. And yes, new cars break, but GM spends millions of dollars on R&D. We spend a month.
Right.
And that should work. There's quite a few times that I've done something on a car and went, yeah, that should work. I mean, there's still a zip tie holding the distributor in place on the 54.
Right.
Like, and
that's, when everybody shows up down there, like I said, we're going to put a list together and go through safety, but there's two reasons for that. One, I'm putting something together and there can be some liability. So it's sad. We live in a time now that you kind of have to think about those things when you're putting on something like this. So one of it's for me to say, hey, I kind of wrote down what I felt about this car. Probably shouldn't be driving it on the highway. Not my car, not my problem, right? But it also gives me a chance with some people to go through and go, maybe you missed this, or hey, did you think about this? And blah, blah, blah. Because that's the whole point. As you get older, I feel to pass on that knowledge to people that, and we're trying to help grow that kind of part of the show or the culture is the safety aspect. So I really want to go through that as well. Because they can still do whatever, and I'm not going to dock them. Like I said, it's not that big a deal on the build part for the build off, but I just need you to understand, like, I'm telling you, I probably wouldn't do this because of this and this. Yeah. Sign here, please, because like, I'm not telling you should go drive 200 to 500 miles with us today. I want you to. It's your car, but I'm just letting you know, like, I didn't advise this, so you can't come back and after you break a tie rod that's 100 years old because you couldn't put new stuff on. And that's one of our big things too, is like, you have a budget for safety equipment. So I'm giving you money off that isn't going to account to your budget for tires, brakes, things like that, seat belts, things that I'm asking you to do, not mandating. I'm just telling you, like, I want you to do this stuff and don't use your budget because that's your excuse for not putting on new tires or whatever. Like, I'm not going to give you $2,500 to go throw on wheels and tires, but you're going to get, you're going to get enough to go get you a Walmart set of tires if you need to, or get a good, decent used set,
And
so we're trying to look at all those avenues too and help out.
Yeah. And we've all been in the group of motorcycles specifically, and you put the guy in front of you. Because you don't, the first time you stop at a red light and the guy goes by you and you see his brake lights on, well, guess what? He gets to ride in front of me for the rest of this trip.
Exactly.
And you might at the next stop go, hey man, might want to look into that whole no brakes situation. But, and especially with the car stuff, you can tell people, and it's kind of on them. I mean, we're all grown-ups. Right. We should all want to make it home.
Yep.
And, and it's back to what you were saying about your mom and dad being retired. And I'm very fortunate. My mom and dad are the exact same way. And, comfort is where they want to be now. And it's like,
they've earned that, dude. Like, I'm not going to dog on them because they want to ride in a nice Chevy, dude. I'm like,
and they bought it,
dude. You deserve it.
Yeah. And, when, right after we got the 54, my dad, he's like, I think I'll get back into cars. And he found a little 34 truck, and maybe it's my fault. Cause I was like, if you don't make a deal on it, I'm going to try to make a deal on it. And and the truck was nice, don't get me wrong, the truck was very well,
sure,
but there was little things that he could piddle with.
Yep.
The steering sucked, okay, we can fix that. Or the wiring was janky, okay, we can fix that. And he made little improvements to it, and
sure,
it probably wasn't going to win any drag race, but they got to cruise it, and it did exactly what they wanted it to do. My mom and dad are not the people that are going to take off to Mississippi.
Right.
Probably not even towing it. That's just not them. They don't like to go nowhere.
Sure.
Whereas, so they come up and they're like, okay, well, they got rid of the little blue truck and they ended up with a little 65 Fairlane that is like immaculate. It's got like vintage air. It's got less than 20,000 miles on it. It was somebody's garage furniture, and it's awesome. But again, they're still not going to take off to Mississippi in it.
Nope.
Because they don't want to drive that far.
Exactly.
And where us, my dad will always joke with me, I got gasoline ass. Because like I'll look at something and be like, it's only 5 hours away. That's like, it's 5 hours.
Yeah. That's what I told him when we were on vacation. It's like, man, that's another 2 hours from Salt Lake City. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get up at 5 so I can be there at sunrise. And they're like, what? I'm like, man, that's the whole point, dude. I want the good picture, baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, and it's awesome to see the camaraderie. And there are people, you do have bad apples. And it's not just traditional. It's not just lowriders. It's not. No. There's not one group that you can go, oh, they're all dicks. There's bad apples all the way across the board.
We're humans, and there's a lot of a-holes in our race, man.
And also, depending on what day you catch it, it might be me.
Yep.
If I beat on this car all night and I wake up the next morning and I can't make it do something, the first person that talks to me at the show and tells me how pretty my car is probably going to get told, shut up. I fucking hate this car at this point. That's,
I always laughed and thought all these old dudes that rode choppers were just like really angry and crazy until I rode them. And then I walk into the bar or something, dude, and I look worn out, dude, and nobody would talk to me. I'm like, man, I'm not a mean guy, but I must look horribly angry all the time from bouncing around and holding on for dear life, man. So I get it.
Yeah, and it is what it is, and we've had I talked enough shit on the podcast. It was really, really hard, but I really wanted a squatted truck guy to come on, not because I wanted to give him shit. It was more I just wanted. I wanted you to tell me why it's cool. You know, tell me why you dig it. And I lucked up a kid out of Georgia. I got put in touch with him, and perfect representation of what we should all strive to be.
Nice.
He's a real young cat. He puts on shows. He's like, you can't do burnouts. You can't bump it off the rev limiter. I don't allow it. It's not a thing. Like, we're here to show off our cars, and we want people to respect us. We want people to come up and ask questions. And I'm like, that's car. You know, I want you to look at me and go, why'd you do that? Or how'd you do that?
Right.
You know, how did we end up here? Because that at the end of the day is growing the community. So anything you can do to grow the community is what it is.
Absolutely.
Well, so one more question, and then I'll let you get out of here. But what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody that's trying to get into this car world?
Don't get frustrated when things don't work out the way you want to, because it's a long race. Like, it's a marathon. It's not, a sprint. And really try to find somebody that is more advanced in you, whether it's in life, age, whatever experience, and try to spend time with them, because there is still a lot of good people that have wisdom that will share that. And it makes it a lot more fun to work and have somebody to ask questions to, so that you can move into it a little bit smoother than just banging your head against the wall constantly every night in the garage. So.
No, you would never beat your head against the wall.
Or throw wrenches, or, the multiple things that we do in the garage. Yep.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, I do want to invite you January 3rd, Big Daddy Don Garlett's, our show, The Hangout. We do our pick, lady driven, furthest distance driven, which if you drove from Nebraska, you'd probably have it.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
So last year, last year we did have somebody that, Gasser Garage, Mr. Randy Jackson, he lives in Missouri. His girlfriend lives in Oklahoma. So she took her 53 from Oklahoma to Missouri, picked him up in his slingshot dragster on a homemade trailer. And they came to Florida, and the dragster was actually signed by Don Garlett's 4 or 5 years ago at Lions Dragway. And so not only did he win furthest distance driven, he also rode around on Don Garlett's golf cart talking about cool cars in the parking lot with him. So
that's wild.
That was awesome. But if you're around, so all of our advertisers build trophies, anybody or show sponsors or anybody like that, so they give out their picks. So you can really only be mad at me for the podcast pick. You can be mad at Ashley for the lady-owned pick. The rest of them are subjective or somebody else's issue.
Gotcha.
It's an all years welcome. Last year we had everybody from pretty new challengers all the way down to the slingshot dragster on a trailer, which I believe has a Cadillac motor in it, and he actually fired it up and did some wop-wops, so that was pretty cool.
Dang, yeah.
But hopefully my Cadillac will be there, and hopefully Ashley's car will be there with a small block in it. So, but definitely, man, come out, and anyone that's interested in finding you, go ahead and run through how they can find you or find out more information on the High Class Trash Invitational.
We got a Facebook page, High Class Trash Invitational. We have a YouTube channel. It's there. We just don't have anything on it yet. We also have our email is highclasstrashinvite@gmail.com. And then me personally, you're always welcome to hit me up on any of my socials under Jeremiah Gardner or Gardner Road at any of those socials as well. So, plenty of ways to get a hold of us if you have questions or concerns or anything to do with the build off. But it is underway for applications right now, and we're hoping to have everything filled up here by the end of this month. It's looking like, because we're getting pretty close already. So I would say early November, we're going to be pretty close to wrapping up the application part and really starting to send out those invites and stuff, because I'd love to give everybody an opportunity to start building basically by the first of the year. So
very cool. And we will make sure that we put all of that information in the show notes below. Cool. Thank you again, man, for coming on. And I don't know if we'll meet you somewhere to drive to Mississippi, but we may end up finding you in Mississippi.
That would be pretty cool, man. I'll definitely stay in touch with you guys.
All right, bub. Thanks again.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Well, before we end this episode, I just wanted to hop on and say how much we want to thank y'all for listening and give a shout out to our sponsors. A huge thank you to Why Not Fab. Be sure to check out what they're up to on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Also wanted to mention Psycho Fab. We are so excited to see what paint job you have in store for the caddy. You can check out what he's working on Facebook and Instagram. And go check out Throttle Addict for men and women's apparel. Be sure to use the code word HOTROD for 15% off your order. Another thank you to Johnny Jalopy for the logo for the Hangout 2026. Check out his latest sketches on Facebook, johnnyjalopy.com, or find him on YouTube at Johnny Jalopy Art. We also wanted to give a shout out for Mike from Mike Ryu Photography for coming on board with the Hangout 2026. Go take a look at his photography on Facebook and Instagram. And we cannot forget to mention Renting for the Future, bringing the kids back into shop and bringing generations back together. Check out what they're building on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Till next time, get out and drive your shit. See ya.